So now that our data views are defined, let's see how we can populate data directly into widgets. I'm going to put this application into preview mode, click on customers, and you can see here that this mobile list is being populated with data coming straight from a data view. No code's been needed for this. So we can see we've got a label, we've got the count bubble. So let's see how we actually define this in the property bar. So we're going to come through to the third page in this app, select our mobile list widget, and then pretty well all widgets in Application Craft have this data section in the property bar. And first thing we want to do is to say, well, where should this widget get its data from? In this case, we're just getting it from the customers data view. And next comes, this is probably the most important one, the fields. So there's quite a lot of settings you can make here. For each component of the widget that we're talking to, in this case the mobile list, there are different sort of properties that you can set and map through to the data source. The first one is the label. So here, for instance, we're taking the country name, customers.country, and that's what's going to appear here as the main bit of text. The count, well, if we, in this case, we do have the count property switched on, so you do see the bubble. All of these things can be switched on in the property bar for the selected widget. So for the count, we're doing count of customer country. The value, that is the selected value. It's an extra bit of data that's not actually shown in the list widget, but it's there for you to inspect, so you can store extra data there. The aside is little text, small font text that would appear somewhere around here. Image is an icon that can be displayed on each line, and a divider. The divider we don't use here, but it is used on on this one, which is actually just used as a menu. So it's not being populated from the data view, but this is a divider line here. So it's a true or false value effectively. Let's come back here and bring up the expression editor again. So really what you can do is pull in data from our external data source. So if I delete this, there are several things I can do. I can go for a function. These are the available abstracted functions. So we will translate this function into whatever the backend database is the correct function name in the backend database. Obviously SQL, MySQL, these have different function names in many cases. So use these wherever you can. If you want to use a different function that's not provided by us, then you actually need to know what the function is for the actual backend database that this is being passed through to. So for instance, if you wanted to join, concatenate a couple of strings, you'd do concat. You'd have to know that function. And then I would, for instance, and now I can use the fields button, I could say customer first name and then a space and then customer last name. There we are. So that's would be only relevant for MySQL. Let's put it back to the way it was, which was customers.country. So this expression editor will be used for different properties. In this case it's the fields property. But if we now look at the next one, the group by, here we can see we're using the same expression editor. And here we're grouping by just country. If I wanted to group by further expressions, then I would do a don't add them in here. Press the plus button and then put the next group by field in there. Next up is order by. So same thing. Here we can use anything which would be ORed. You can put in one line. Anything which would be ANDed, you put on a separate in a separate expression entry here. Please refer to the user guide for a more detailed explanation on using the order by dialog. Filter, well, it's the same principle. I can have multiple filter lines. Again, refer to the user guide, please, for full details. And then we get to the drill filter. This is something that I'm going to explain in the next video. This involves how you actually can handle drill down. So as I said, most widgets will actually support this data section, so having a good understanding of this is very helpful if you want to avoid writing JavaScript code. What we'll do quickly is just to look at a couple more points inside this. Let's just drill down now from this page that we'll select, for instance, France. And now here's a list of all of the individual orders. And that's populated in the same way. So that was actually done using drill down. And here is the orders page. And there's our data section. And here you can see we're actually using the concat function. In fact, we're using compound functions. I'm formatting a date inside there as well.